Well, good morning, Balance Nation, and buenos dias. Hey, here's the thing. We all know that there's some craziness going on with this coronavirus stuff. Well, on today's episode, it's going to be an educational experience, I assure you. I'm going to get into this coronavirus craze. I'm going to give you the information that you need to know so that way you can calmly pass through this hysteria. I'm also going to show you what you need to be looking at by way of research so you get your own context, and it's going to help you quite a bit. So let's jump into it. All right, you guys, so in light of today's quest for comfort on the coronavirus, I have on my buttercloth shirt. Have you guys ever seen or worn buttercloth? Ladies, if you want to give your guys something lovely and delicious, give them some buttercloth. I think it was on Shark Tank. Anyways, so got my comfy shirt on. I'm all rolled up, and so we're going to jump into this. All right. Coronavirus, COVID-19, okay? What I want you guys to understand is something that is absolutely vital, okay? And that is a situation where you have a lot going on in a media cycle that really governs the narrative. So at risk of making a point too much off point, I just want to give you a little reminder of something, of a great little video that went viral some time ago that will set the stage of where I'm going with all of this. Okay, so let's take a peek.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
We are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely
Dangerous to our democracy.
This is
Extremely dangerous.
Dangerous to our democracy.
dangerous.
Extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Extremely
Dangerous to our democracy.
Okay, so I think I make my point with that video, okay? And that is, there is a lot of groupthink going on, okay? The news media is absolutely culpable for what we're seeing today, okay? It is. If it bleeds, it leads. And holy crap, this is beyond that, right? So one of the things is we all are connected in this world through digital media, otherwise known as the info space, a la Dr. AGB, or you and I wouldn't be together right now, okay? So no complaints about that. I always like to give what I call the balanced understanding, okay? I want you to look at and investigate all sides. But the cautionary tale here is if you are solely getting your opinion and your information from just looking at Facebook, if you're just looking at Instagram, if you're just watching the news, and then you just take whatever's fed to you, that's what you're going to be fed, is the hype. It is a psychological warfare game, plain and simple, okay? It's the reason why if to sell insurance, we have little lizards, and we have funny-looking ladies that dress like they're from the 50s, okay? And they don't really tell you how wonderful their insurance is. They just entertain you with jokes, Okay, they're not saying, hey, here's our program, this is what our offerings are, this is how much it costs, we would love you to come to our great and wonderful company with all these years of service and dedication. No, they entertain you. Everything is entertainment like that. Okay, now I like to be a little entertaining. However, I'm here to educate, motivate, and inspire. That's my job. The difference is that I want to clear up a couple of things, right? So one of which is the fact that I am not saying that something is not going on, okay? I've explained in other videos why I've used the word hoax and things like that, because this is a malicious misrepresentation. It's not a conspiracy, because people don't have to conspire to have this type of bullshit out there. They just simply coalesce and groupthink and speak. It's really simple. They all get their same media and talking points from the same feeds. Okay, that's why you have the Associated Press. That's why you have the Drudge Report. That's why you have all these places to just keep repeating information. People don't fact check it in news cycles like this. They want to keep feeding the hysteria. Okay, so then you've got all the opinions and the different people of seeing stuff, but I'm going to give you some comfort amongst all the storms that are going on today and tell you that it's beyond okay. It's beyond going to be okay. And this shall all pass by May into Mayish. You won't see it in June. It's going to be gone. Just like that. It's going to come and go. And the reason why that is because the people that are experiencing these symptoms are going to now find themselves in a different environment, and their bodies are going to respond differently, and you're going to see stuff dwindle out. Okay, the fact of the matter is we have billions and billions of people on the planet, and people die. And you know what else is a pandemic right now? Births, sex. People are getting down. They're getting busy, and they're making babies, and they're cranking them out. Okay, now it's a whole nother topic of birth rates and stuff like that these days due to some other things, okay? But that's a pandemic. It's okay. Technically in medicine today, pregnancy is a disease. That's why they don't treat that wonderful episode the way that they should, right? Everything is a disease in medicine, so is being pregnant. So the fact is, guys, is people pass away, okay? And at the unbelievable understanding to me is, it's like, this is when I'm talking about all these things, it's very similar. My good friend, good doc, talked to me this morning. He put it great. He said that it's like trying to tell a kid that monsters aren't real. No, but they're not real now. They're in my closet. Okay, it's hysterical. If you're ever finding yourself upset and clamoring, you're hysterical, and you're not thinking right, and you're very programmable, okay? Know this. That's what the intention is. This is psych ops, all right? And so that's a military term for psychological operations. So anyways, that's what all this stuff is to me, okay? So what I want to do is kind of give you guys a little walkthrough on some facts, okay? So first of all, I posted in the group some stats. And yes, I gave you the maximum numbers on purpose. It's from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the United States. There is something out there called flu season, seasonal flu. And it does occur, okay? Every year. Now, what's interesting is, why is flu season end of September, 1st of October, all the way through to May? Because what happens in the Northern Hemisphere during those times, okay? Well, people subject themselves to various lifestyles and environments and mindsets and nutrition. Imagine that, the 4 factors of Balanced Protocol. If you guys want to know more about Balanced Protocol and its tenets and principles, go over to programs.balancedprotocol.com and enroll in the Balanced Protocol Prime program. It's absolutely free. Doesn't cost you anything. So you can understand where I'm coming from when it comes to that kind of fun stuff. All right? So here's the thing. What happens in that time? Well, light cycles change. That changes circadian rhythm. That affects immunity. It's well established in the literature. If you want to learn more about that, you can go over to programs.balanceprotocol.com and invest in the Balance Protocol Enviro 2.0 program, okay? So the thing is that you have light cycle. Then the temperature goes down. So then now when the temperature is starting to go down, the body's adaptive force, the forced adaptive response now has to kick in to thermoregulate, among other things. So you've got the light cycle, you got the temperature cycle. And then as the temperature and the light goes down, guess what happens to the air? It doesn't move the same. It becomes more stagnant. It doesn't flow. Its humidity level goes down. Okay? That's what happens. So then what happens is that people also now come into the holidays, the feasting of the holidays. You've got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, and all of those are marked with what? Lots of people together, drinking alcohol, slamming down the sugar, right? Staying inside and all that kind of stuff. Okay, this is what happens. I mean, come on. Environment, lifestyle, mindset, nutrition. This is where health or disease manifests. That's Balance Protocol 101. So it makes for the perfect combination and symphony of what we see happen, okay? Now, just for clarity, and I've held off on talking about this in here because I didn't want, to give any more credit to Corona. That is, I'm air quoting Coronas and I'm rolling my eyes. And the reason why I'm describing that is because these episodes will also be coming out on the Balance Protocol podcast, which will be launching here in a few months. And also be over on YouTube. So you guys will be able to have access to this, even though you guys get it first, Balance Nation. You get it first and live. It will simulcast over to YouTube where you guys can share that with your friends and family on your timeline so they can get this coronavirus comfort amongst the Craze stuff, okay? So be sure that you share that with people and help move the movement of Balance Protocol forward because people need the balanced understanding, okay? So needless to say, I don't believe in viral theory the way that the world does, okay? And I know this is going to be scandalous and some of you guys might want to check out, but that's fine. I'd rather you know me and everything about, where I'm coming from, okay? I know that microbes are real, okay? But viruses are a different kind of tune, okay? I have spent countless hours staring into microscopes and we've never seen a virus, okay? Even scanning electron microscopes, I understand you see these little balls or these little pokey things sticking out of it, and some of them, like Ebola, are these rod-shaped things. So not all viruses are those little balls, by the way. Did you guys know that? You keep seeing that little thing like that? That's a representation. It's not a real picture, okay? So the thing is germ theory is where I want to go briefly on some stuff, okay? So germ theory was kind of created by the guy, you've probably heard of the term pasteurization, named after Louis Pasteur, who was really a fraud. He was found to be a fraud way back in the day. That everybody knows that in medicine. And he had a competitor, B-Chimp, who didn't agree with him and stuff like that, and Pasteur stole some work and all that kind of stuff. You can go look all this stuff up, right? So the upshot is that, to me, what people are experiencing is not this little spiky ball, looked like a dog chew toy, okay? Yes, they're exposed to various constructs of amino acids, also known as proteins, okay? In the environmental conditions, they can leave bodies and they can go through the air and they can get onto other people, and then the body creates a immunological response to that. When the body has fatigue, it wants you to slow the flip down. That's what it wants you to do. Because what demand you're putting on it, it can't handle. So it wants you to chill out and rest. Okay? Not take NyQuil. The other thing is when you have a fever, that is your body's divinely created intelligence raising the temperature to fight off real microbes and, I'm not going to say it. Oh, no, I'm going to say it. Pretend microbes. Certain proteins or substances that it needs to facilitate out of the body because it doesn't like its energetics, okay? That's what it does. It raises its temperature. It slows you down, okay? And this is where you need to make sure that your fluid balance is correct because all things biochemistry happen in a liquid and fluid environment, okay? The power that runs all this is minerals, okay? And then light, okay? So that's what happens. The body gives you fatigue and temperature and boogers, okay, and mucus to sequester this stuff and get it out. All right. That's oversimplification maybe, but here's the deal. That's what it is, okay? Embrace the suck. That's what you got to realize, okay? People who have compromised immune systems, that's overly exaggerated because they don't have the efficiency to move out these foreign particles, okay? That's what it is, all right? So if your body is in cold climates and you're trying to thermoregulate, right, and you have dry air, okay, it's going to be more difficult, okay? People aren't catching the flus and doing all that kind of stuff, you know, and it's not sweeping to the Caribbean. Imagine that. Also, go to the Centers for Disease Control, and I want you to go look at all the colors of the red, the orange, and the yellow. And I want you to go see Florida. Green as hell. Oh, man. Now, of course, Arizona's got some. Anyways, so that's probably a bad example, but it's just kind of funny to me at this point because we're talking about monsters under the bed. So the upshot is this. So germ theory is in error, okay? Even Louis Pasteur himself said, hey, listen, I got it wrong, and Beecham was right, okay? So Antoine Beecham, who described these things that we saw under the microscope, and people are considering viruses as microzyma, okay? There's a Gaston Nunez who actually did the somatid cycle. So if you guys want to go look up microzymas and you want to go look up somatid cycle, you'll get an idea of where I'm coming from and what I'm saying, okay? I don't look at microbes the way that most people do, and that's okay, because one of the things I want to show you, all right, is that it is not something that is unheard of in the scientific community, okay? And it's not a situation where I'm just, you know, pulling something, you know, out of my butt, okay? So let me just kind of screen share here with you, all right? So here we have the Journal of Molecular and Genetic Medicine, right? It's open access. There's something called Cook's postulates, which I'm going to go over with you guys, Balance Nation, here in just a second. The germ-terrain dualism, cellular dust as yet another term for microzymas, okay? This is legit stuff. These are topics that aren't taught in schools, in high school, biology. It's not taught in medical school, but it's there, okay? And this is from 2017. They're still talking about it here recently, okay? So basically there's an interplay, okay, between germs and the inherent anatomical physiological integrity of body cells. That's also known as I call it the biological terrain, okay? This is why I tell people balance protocol is it. It's the shiz, okay? And the reason is because it's the only method that I know of, could be somebody else out there who was hiding in the shadows for 26 years like I have, and has presented something very similar, okay? But everything is in balance protocol that covers this type of theory and understanding. We talk about the environmental inputs as key number one. That's air, water, light, sound, EMF, and food. So you got all these people out there in the info space robbing you of your comfort, telling you got to do everything is light. No, it's not. And then you got everybody who's like, oh, everything is EMF. No, it's not. It's some or each or all of them. You got to look at all of them. So be careful of the niche pickers, especially people who have only been in it for the last 2 or 3 years with sales funnels. They're called biohackers. Okay. Anyways, so my point is I look at what's happening in these people's bodies dynamically different, and it gives me tremendous comfort to understand and know where it's coming from. But I understand that's not enough for you guys, okay? So let's go just a little bit further and deep into this, okay? So as of late, the propaganda machine is now trying to bring up Italy. Good old Italia, okay? So as of up to this week, there's about 42,600 infected people, 88% of which are just mild, and about 5,700 are what they call serious or critical. They've had 631 deaths. Okay, so since they did that, what I do as a researcher, I want to go and look at the research. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and I'm going to take a look at a couple of little things. So check this out. Now you guys remember back in, January, okay, when you never even heard of coronavirus, okay? Well, guess what? They were talking about a flu outbreak in Italy. 500,000 people struck down in a week. Look at that. What a great headline, okay? So, nearly 3 million cases of flu have been reported in Italy this winter. 3 million. You guys didn't hear about that, did you? You didn't hear about Italy's flu. Millions and millions and millions of them back in January, did you? Look at this. This is 23 January, okay? 2020, this year. That's it, okay? And this is over in Italy, by the way. This is one of their websites, okay? So, almost 3 million flu have been reported in Italy since the start of the winter season, and the number of confirmed cases is rising. Okay? That's what's going on, okay? So, since the start of the flu season in 2019, look at this. 2.7 million cases across the country have been confirmed by laboratory tests, according to the data of InfluNet published in January 19. Okay? Total of 488,000 cases were reported last week alone. Okay. Now remember, here's my point. Did you guys hear about this in January about the flu? No. What a huge epidemic in Italy. Just one news cycle away. And we're sitting there clamoring because Italy's, medical rooms and their hospitals are overloaded with people. Well, how come we didn't hear that back in January, December, or November? Tell me that. Can somebody tell me where I'm missing here? So if you have a question or comment or a contradiction, please put it in the comments below the video. Okay? Because I'm going to answer and respond to all those at the end. Okay? But you see what I'm saying? Okay? So again, let's just keep going with this report from over in Italy, right? So we actually had, okay? See if I can scrooge this down a little bit, okay? 240 deaths so far have been reported. Slightly lower than the expected 258. Most of the fatal cases were elderly patients who suffer complications after contracting the virus. Okay? What they call a virus. Do you see that? People who are old, elderly, okay? What does that mean? What do elderly people do? They stay in the damn house, okay? With low humidity, cold, body having a hard time self-regulate. You see where I'm going with this, guys? This should give you tremendous comfort. It's context cubed. Context, context, context. Okay? So, influenza, commonly called the flu, is a viral infection that attacks the respiratory system. Flu-like symptoms include the onset of high fever, cough, muscle pain, according to the Health Ministry's website, headache, chills, loss of appetite, fatigue, and sore throat. So let me get this right. When you have a foreign protein particle come into your body that is not self and the body wants to reject it, the body goes, oh, let's raise the body temperature. Let's make some mucus so we can surround it, that we breathe it in, and then cough it out. Oh, and by the way, we're going to uptick all these cytokines and chemicals which make your head hurt, okay? And we don't want you eating, so that we're going to put in some loss of appetite because we got to deal with this. Not all the energy that's needed to make something that's not you, called food, right? And they want you to have fatigue. So guess what? You can go rest and sleep. I mean, that's called intelligence. That's the body's intelligence telling you what you need to do, okay? It's really doggone simple. Okay, so that's the first thing. Okay, when it comes down to it, this whole Italy thing, this is a ploy. It's a ruse. I know there's people in Balanced Nation talking about the Italy thing, but these same people weren't clamoring about the hundreds of thousands of people just weeks ago, and the 258 that died before the coronavirus for the seasonal flu. You see why I can't buy into the hype, guys? It gives me comfort. I want you to have comfort. Okay? Relax. It's okay. It'll all be gone soon. Okay? Yes, there are conspiracy theories that I subscribe to as to why the stuff is going down, but it doesn't matter. I would suggest that you not go and freak out about this stuff. Just get to the statistics. But you would say, hold on a sec, Doc. That's just one little post. Oh, is that right? Okay. Well, let's go to the scientific literature, shall we? Okay, great. So let's go to the International Journal of Infectious Disease. Okay, I think that'd be a nice little source. Now, one little uncommonly known thing about me is over the last few years, I've been working on a doctorate in health sciences in epidemiology of chronic disease. Okay. So furthering my education and fun stuff like that, just for sake of doing some things that I have planned in the future. Okay, so I love epidemiology. I love recognizing patterns. I love the history of disease, where it comes from. But you know, one of the things that goes into mind is the mindset of disease. Studying culturally what it does to the mindset and behavior and the lifestyle of people. Okay, so one of the things I like to do is take a look at the literature. So here's one that says investigating the impact of influenza on excess mortality in all ages in Italy during recent seasons. Okay, so you got all the way from 2013 to 14 through 16 or 17. Okay, so this was published just last November. Simmer, it takes a while for the data to coalesce and kind of come around. My people, my people. Okay, so Balanced Nation, this is your comfort. You ready? Okay. Nose breathe in, nose breathe out. Work on your control pause. If you want to learn more about control pause and air and quality, you can go over to programs.balanceprotocol.com and enroll in BP Enviro 2.0, where I break it down for you. Okay, don't take deep breaths. Just take a deep breath. Everyone, take a deep breath. Actually, just take some nice little controlled nasal breaths. And you'll calm down. When you got a schnoz like mine, you know, it's easy to do. All right, so here's the deal. In the winter seasons from 2013-14 to 2016, an estimated average of, wait for it, 5,290,000, okay, influenza-like illnesses, cases occurred in Italy, corresponding to an incidence of 9%. More than 68,000 deaths attributable to flu epidemics. Oh, epidemics? But I thought we had a pandemic. Oh my God, an epidemic. Were estimated in the study period. Italy showed a higher influenza attributable excess mortality compared to other European countries, especially in the elderly. Okay, so for those of you who are listening to this, right now I have what's called a shit-eating grin on my face. Okay, a Cheshire cat. Because what this tells us is that deaths in Italy are nothing new. Tens of thousands of people are dying from flu. And I know people are saying, well, this is not the same thing. Okay, no, it's not a common cold because that's a different microbial, quotes, this is a different protein particle, okay, cell debris. But the bottom line is, what's happening here is all of this media attention is making anybody who has fatigue and muscle soreness and cold hands, cold feet, clammy, headaches, go in because they have corona. Oh my God, I've got corona. I got to go get tested. And they're telling you to do it. It is a bolstered campaign, okay? People are not dying like crazy, okay? Listen, Italy is not a third world country. I totally agree. It is not like they don't have it, but they don't have the population that larger countries have, like in the United States. And I'm sorry, the United States is better, Italy. Anyways, that's right. America first. The point is this. I get it. It's just a misdirection of what people are seeing out there, okay? But it has a history, okay, that's repeating itself, okay? So this is a study that takes a look at registered peaks in death rates, particularly among elderly in the winter season. Influenza epidemics have been indicated as one of the potential detriments of such excess. It's an objective study to estimate blah, 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 blah. Okay, so here's what they did, okay? You guys can go and look at this doggone thing, and if you want to go and find it, okay, maybe I'll go ahead and download it and upload it for you guys if you want, okay? But here's the DOI origin number, or .org number, Okay, and you can find that it's on there, or just whatever your favorite search engine, and just type in investigating the impact of influenza on excess mortality in all ages in Italy during recent seasons. It'll come up. Okay, so here's the deal. It goes into all of it. The bottom line is it talks about numbers of deaths, the Italian population, all these kind of things. There you can get it from iStats. There's tons of this stuff for ILI, which is influenza-like illnesses, okay? Listen, tens of thousands of people are dying. And look at there, they talk about environmental temperature. They know that they need to look at that as a factor. They do the statistical analysis. All of these things are on there. They talk about the results, and look at this. A total of 1,457,038 deaths were registered in Italy during the study period. That's 2013, okay, all the way through 2017, okay? Oh my goodness, guys. Did you know that there was basically 1.5 million Italians who died related to influenza in that period of time? Now, that does not mean go getting flu vaccines, because guess what? They don't work either. Okay, that's because you can't make a protective mechanism from these cell debris microzyma somatid cycle byproducts. They're bogus. Okay, it's big business in you thinking germ theory. There's billions in that. That's where all this comes from. There's a lot of things happening in the market right now that are attributing to what we're seeing. Okay, so have I hopefully given you comfort on the Italy thing? I am not debating that people are flooding medical clinics in countries. I know what they're seeing. Your colleagues are seeing people. Yes, because these people normally would sit the hell home, okay, and rest and hydrate and fast, okay? They should be getting outside, right? Okay, they should be warming up. Get some infrared sauna going, okay, if you can't get outside. But here's the deal. Let me tell you real quick. I'm gonna pivot, okay? I'm gonna do a pivot. Because people are now talking about the testing. I don't buy into the testing either, okay? Because what I'd rather do is not just give my opinion. I'm going to talk to you about these viral tests, okay? So basically in viral tests, there's 4 kinds, right? There's an antibody test. There's an antigen detection test. There's viral culture. And then there's a DNA RNA detection test, okay? So there's 4 different kinds. Why do we need 4 different kinds if one is the bee's knees? Well, because they don't work. It's like all the different dating techniques out there, all right? Dating, like carbon dating. Okay, so without getting into a long, boring, drawn-out college-level course on viral tests, I don't believe the tests because they don't match what are called Koch's postulates. Okay, here's another thing in science, okay? So, Koch's postulates and germ-terrain dualism, okay? Cellular dust as yet another term for microzymas, okay? Now, that's the reason why. So, here's the Koch's postulates. And this is very reasonable and rational. And this is what does not happen in these viral tests, okay? Number 1, okay? The microbe must be found present in the sick person. That's number 1. That kind of seems pretty simple, right? Okay. That microbe should actually be removed from said sick person and grown outside of the host. Never seen it. Okay? They can't do it. They can't isolate these viruses from these infected people and grow them in culture. Okay? Then you have to take that isolated, grown outside microbe and put it into a new host, and they have to have the exact same sickness symptoms, right? Then last, number 4 of the Koch postulate, okay, is then you now have to isolate from that new host infected with said microbe and isolate it. So you take it from a sick person, has these symptoms, you take it out, you isolate it, you got to be able to grow it, you got to then put it into another host and it produces the same thing as the original one, and then of the secondary one, you got to take it out and be able to isolate the culture. That's how it works, right? That's called scientific method. Guess what, folks? They don't do that in virology. They don't. What they do is they say, hey, we're going to do this little thing where we take a little chemical and attach it to another chemical and create it, and take a look at this antigen or antibody, and then we're going to test for that antibody. And then the maker of the test controls the antibodies. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? So guys, it is not some virus that got let out. It's not like that, okay? It's not how that goes. Again, I can't get into all the dissertation of that today because that'll open a big old can of worms. But here's what I want you to do. I just want you to challenge the status quo. Don't believe me either. Do your independent research. And I'm not talking from conspiracy theory websites and stuff. It's in the literature. I quoted, I showed you guys in there today, you know? So if you don't believe the Journal of Molecular and Genetic Medicine, okay, that's fine. Well, don't believe me either, okay? If you don't want to go and believe the Italian journals, right? And the International Journal of Infectious Diseases, okay, then okay, so just keep being crazy, all right? It's fine. We can have dissenting opinions. And on that note, in Balanced Nation, we are not fear-mongers. We're balanced understanding. I love open dialectic. You can see my personality on video as opposed to when I'm typing, but it's the same person. So guys, listen, and gals. If we interact in there, just relax, calm down. Remember, communication is mostly body posture, voice, cadence, tonality, facial expressions. You don't get that tapping a keyboard, okay? It's going through your interpretation stuff. So that's your next call to action of calming yourself when you're having people with disagreements, okay? If I call something bullshit, I'm not saying you're a piece of shit. What I'm saying is I'm just calling what the thing is whatever, okay? So everybody just chill out and relax about difference of opinions, okay? I will mediate and get out the stupid stuff, okay? You know, one example is my colleague, Dr. Nick Delgado, made a statement, about in there about chicken soup, right? Causing UTIs and leukemia. I mean, I love Nick. Listen, and Nick, if you're watching this video, I love you, man. The thing is we've microscoped side by side together, okay? We have. And we've lectured to thousands of other doctors around the world, okay? So the thing about that is let's not be silly, okay? I know you're a vegan and you don't want chickens in soup when people are sick, okay? But I'm going to get down on some chicken, okay? With all that I just slushed in my coffee mug. All right, guys. So you see where I'm going with that? Do your own research. That's the take home, all right? So the thing is that these particular, tests, okay, are not testing for the presence of a virus. It's a supposed protein. It's the same reason why, man, should I really go this scandalous on you guys? Same thing with the HIV test. They don't isolate it. It just means you've been exposed to a particular protein that the body has created an antigen memory to. Okay? This is why so many people who've tested positive don't even have any symptoms or asymptomatic. Because it's not that heinous. Any person who gets this particulate, this protein affected that goes through different surfaces and airs and your body responds to it, some of us, no big deal. Okay? So the upshot is they're not spreading the protein. What they're doing is they're spreading the memory of stuff. This is why I'm telling you guys, if you really want to expand your brain, get into morphic resonance and morphic fields, which also explains why people are acting the way they are collectively. Okay, that's Rupert Sheldrake's work. It's great. It's phenomenal. Okay, so it's just like if you ever been to a yoga class or an ayahuasca ceremony or any of that kind of fun stuff, or a sweat lodge, or a bunch of women get together and they live together and all their periods synchronize. In other words, there's something to be said that can happen when a bunch of people are all thinking and concentrating on the same thing. Thoughts are matter, in my opinion. They're light. Their light is information, and everybody starts to now. It reminds me of that scene on Avatar where everybody's all plugged in, to Iowa or whatever it is, and they all start chanting and rocking together, and they all get together, and it's pretty amazing. It could just be intoxicating. That's what happens at churches. It's what happens in ball games. Okay, those are morphic fields. So when we start seeing, look at this for a second, you guys. Think for just a moment. Think of all the billions of people on the planet all thinking on the same topic. That's crazy. Could you imagine if we did that for, homelessness? If we did that for feeding people who are hungry? If we did that for not polluting the environment? If billions of people all gave this attention to this? It's amazing the things that we could do, okay? So, everybody's thinking the same thing. These kind of things happen. I want everybody to realize, from my opinion, I'm not worried a lick. Not a lick. That's why I said I was at Walt Disney World Epcot yesterday in the China district. It's fun. It's totally fun. I get out in the sunshine and air, and I'm hydrating, and I'm laughing. I'm being with my princesses, all but one. And the thing is that, I enjoying life and having gratitude. Focus on those things, okay? It's not going to be like everybody says it's going to be, okay? And there's nothing new here. There's no there, okay? It just doesn't match up the facts, okay? So that's my take home for today. And remember, treat the patient, not the infection. Treat the patient, not the infection, okay? Treat the patient, not the disease. These are things that we say, okay? And so in other words, what does that mean? Treat your mind. Don't make these things what they're programming you to do. Turn off the idiot boxes. My mom used to call TVs the boob tube. Anthony, get away from the boob tube. I used to love commercials. My brother used to jump in front of me when all the commercials were on and drive me nuts. That's right. So, Brother Tom, if you're watching this, I still resent you for it. I'm just kidding. Forgave him long ago. I also forgave him for sticking a dart in my head and shooting me with BB guns. So I'm grateful that I'm older now. So my point is, you guys have peace, be calm. This stuff is silly hysteria. That's why I called it a hoax. It's not what you're thinking it is, and you're not aware of the other stats in comparison to things that we always normally see through this time of the year for the reasons why I explain them, okay? All right, so let's go to some questions here. See what we got. Hopefully they're good stuff here. So, hey, Linda, Dr. Hansen. So she's, good morning to you too, Kristen. Kristen says, good morning. Thank you for constantly responding to this craziness. It is certainly making me feel better. Well, that's my job. That's what I want to do. Educate, motivate, and inspire. Elijah, good morning, Devil Dog. Mark says, that's why we are in the business, making babies. That's right. Mark's getting ready to, you already made a baby. That's what you get for making out, man. That's where babies come from. Did you guys know that? Making out. Robin Cardo says, so is menopause. That's exactly right. Mary Zinn says, me too. I have anxiety disorder, and this fear-mongering is really messing with my mental health. I was diagnosed with severe anxiety disorder at age 5 and put on Valium. I've been anxiety med-free for 3 years now, and all this panic is messing with my mind. Well, Mary, that was my mother's name, by the way. I have my mother's middle name. So here's the thing. You can change in an instant everything you feel, everything you think you did by choice. Okay? That's what it is, guys. You can literally stop watching that lame-ass movie. That's A-Z-Z, by the way. I'm not cursed. Right? That lame-ass movie. You guys put those images in your head. You look at something, the way it was programmed. It goes through your filter and your biases, which I covered in Balanced Protocol Prime program, which is free. Okay? You can go over to programs.balancedprotocol.com. Go and enroll in BP Prime. It's absolutely free. And I talk about these various biases. So then you spin these things up in your brain. Okay? I've never seen a person in a coma with anxiety. And that's something that doesn't pass the Dr. Beck coma test. Okay? So just change your thoughts. Every time you have an anxiety, change to something that you're grateful for. That's what you do. Okay? Have a stock. Have your movies ready of all the wonderful things that have happened in life. Marriages, births, building a home, buying a new car, riding that motorcycle, winning that poker game, playing with your dog, whatever it is. Whenever one of these thoughts come in, just instantly flip it over to that movie. Say, oh, not watching that channel. It'd be the same thing as if you were, flipping through channels and you had a bunch of kids in the room, and next thing you know, you see, something naked. Okay? Oh, that's not appropriate for little good. You just turn the channel. Turn the channel. It's really that simple. Okay? So Mary, get rid of all that stuff. I'm glad you've been off the meds for 3 years. Okay? Remember, don't buy into this hype. This video, watch it through a few times. Chris says, love it. Thank you. Keep up the good work. What if these cases were C19? There just wasn't a test for it yet. Exactly. Well, here's the thing. The tests actually are testing for not only this particular protein or antigen from this man-made thing called COVID-19. Yep, that's true. I said it. But also some of the other influenza A's and B's, right? So what they want to do is they want to... I don't want to get into all the testing stuff. The bottom line is the test things to me is kind of bogus. So it is what it is, and it really doesn't matter anyways. Gail McClellan says, good morning. Helen Bianco says, we see coronavirus in the children's ED all the time. Just a new strain, I'm assuming. Could be, Helen. I agree. A new particle, new protein particle. Yeah, for sure. Clayton Turnbow says, hey, Doc, keep up the great work. Awesome. And Jennifer McGlasson says, good morning. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate all that. All right, you guys, I'm going to wrap up. We went a little long here. But Balance Nation, go back, read this. Please share it with other people. Let them understand, okay? Some people will think I'm crazy and they won't agree with me, and that's okay, too. What I hoped I did here is charged you to think, okay? Go and look up the stats, okay? Go and look and see what's going on, okay? I want you to see what you're up against, so that way you're not believing me either, just as some talking head in this little boob tube box, okay, or listening to me on a podcast, okay. This is a parlay into the stuff we'll see with people being and having symptoms. That'll be over soon, but the battle for what we do after this has only just begun. Okay, don't stress out about that either. Okay. Okay, but this is going to parlay into a continued fear politically and medical freedom stealing like crazy. Okay, but I'm not fearful about that either. Okay, because ain't nobody ever going to force me or any of my family to inject poisons into their bodies. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so the bottom line is, if you're in a place where you do that, you need to move. Anyways, don't get me started. The point is, vaccines and medicines and all this other kind of fun stuff is crazy. They just can't help themselves for being the fear and the money mongers that they are. Okay, well, a couple last things, last comments, and we'll go here. Joel Marquez says, Dr. Beck, I'm looking at the study you quoted from the International Journal of Infectious Diseases because I was skeptical. 1.5 million deaths in Italy from 2013 to 2015. Yep. That's what the study says. Wow, mind-blowing. Do we have studies that compare these rates to mortality in other parts of the world? Well, in a lot of countries we do, Joel. In the European Union there are. But in other third world countries, in third world countries, they don't have the data reporting that we do. But they do in post-industrial and wonderful countries like Italy, which I've never been. I hope to go. Please leave the European Union. Anyways, all countries, get out. Follow the UK's lead. The bottom line is this. There are stats around. Do your research. If I didn't do anything, but let you see that, oh, hold on a second. There's another view. There's something that I can go and research. Well, then mission accomplished. That's all I want you to do, okay? Dr. Wasserman, love you, brother. Thank you. That's true. Italians are heavy smokers. Chinese are heavy smokers, unhealthy people. Then you got the 5G that they're all hitting them with out there, which affects these new and foreign proteins, right? That radio frequency, that's an issue. And if you ever really want to take a look at the air quality in these places, just go to earth.nullschool.net, earth.nullschool.net. And it's a little interactive map, and you can take a look. Well, maybe just one quick thing here just for people. And I cover this stuff in the Balance Protocol and Viro program. Let's see here. Let me pull this up. Yeah, let me show you guys this, okay? This will be pretty fun. Okay, so this is earth.nullschool.net, and what you can do is it's an interactive map where you can roll around and actually take a look at the air quality of the planet and stuff like that. Okay, you can see where the airflow is and all the other kind of seeing things like that. Particulates, right? So you can see where all the dark stuff is. This is like, so we get a lot of dust coming off of, you know, the African continent. Okay, but the other thing is you can also take a look at things like sulfur and burning chemicals and stuff. And look at this. Look at where it's the darkest. Right there over the epicenter of China. Okay, you see all this, guys? Look at these patterns. And look at what this particular, I would be air quoting here on camera, virus is spreading, okay? Who's to say that it's just that, okay? On a lot of these, you'll actually see darker things for taking a look at particle matter 2.5, right? Look at this. This is that Wuhan area, okay? Look at how filthy it is, okay? Look at these regions around, okay? This is just, there's a lot of particulate in the air. There's issues with sulfur and the burning of petroleum products and things of that nature. So in other words, there's a whole lot going on in the world than most people are really familiar with when it comes to air. And if you want to learn about air, you can go to programs.balanceprotocol.com and enroll in BP Enviro, where I cover air, water, light, sound, EMF, and food as the main things and the foundation of where your health should be found, made, or recovered. Okay? Last thing here, E. Marie says, what do you think about Trump? He seemed a little on the... Well, I would say so too. You know, when you don't get sleep and you're traveling in a pressurized tube known as Air Force One, and your air quality is off, right? And, you know, he doesn't have the best diet in the world, right? We all know that. So, yeah, people get ill this time of the year, right? So what? I wouldn't even care if he... And I think it would be so apropos if he tested positive for corona. He actually might even do that as a nice little piece of propaganda. I think it would be brilliant. Like, who cares, Tom Hanks? You're over in Australia and you got dealt with and all that. So what? Relax. You ain't gonna die, right? Just like all the rest of the 80-some% of people who have this supposed tested whatever aren't. So that's all the ruse, guys. All right, guys. Well, I love you, Balance Nation. Keep your questions, comments coming. And here's the thing: be calm. Be calm. This will all be done soon when it comes to all this stuff, and it's nothing outside of the norm. Nothing. There's nothing. There's no there. There's no increase of illness. There's no increase of sickness beyond what we see in statistical numbers that have been tracked for a long time. Please share this video with other people. Encourage your friends or invite them into Balance Nation and have them come on over. If they ever want to go into that, it's facebook.com/groups/Balance Nation. Okay, and we can go from there. All right, guys, love you to death, and I will keep it real from now on coronavirus. I'm not going to keep going into this stuff and fueling it more. Okay, we'll talk in the thing, but I want to move on to other things that I want to teach you guys. All right, talk to you soon.